What's up, everybody? Yeah, I've just posted that 4-minute movie. The Life, the Pleasure Boat. It's an idea I've had for a long time. So, yeah, it's something I've wanted to do for quite a while. And I think following your passions with extinctionism, activism, is really good, right? If you want to do something, if you're interested in a certain thing, you can turn that into activism. You can use that to fuel your motivation to do stuff. So any sort of creative projects that you've had in the back of your head, you can use them to help you do extinction activism, right? Help you fuel your passion. Thank you, Fabio, and thank you everyone else for all the kind words. Total extinction as soon as possible, not now or tomorrow. Don't try and guess when extinction's going to happen or what method we're going to use in the future. It's about making it happen as soon as we can, right? Do action, don't guess it, do it, don't hope for it, make it happen, right? Instead of hoping for it. So yeah, let's get some more debates going. As soon as we get some more people in, we'll be getting more people on the stage as usual, getting some conversations going. But yeah, personally, just me personally, I'm very happy with the little movie that I made. I've probably watched it about 20 times now. It's a bit geeky, it's a bit nerdy for Extinction, but we can make more. So I've made a 4-minute film, a movie for Extinction. You might have seen it, but it only took like a day to make it, actually. So with Grok, you can now basically make movies, and you can do all of the sound editing, everything. It's literally is a real film. I've even put myself in it as a Navy commander, right? Okay, let's see. We've got somebody in the queue. Let's get debating started for the Extinction. Hello.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Yeah, I'm good. Do you have any questions?
Yeah. I had the weekend to think about what we talked. We talked last week, like Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know what I'm saying. I see where you're coming from. That when we're talking about eradicating all suffering, extinction is the only option, right?
Yeah.
But where I'm hung up and where I'm convinced that it's it's almost hopeless is the logistics behind how you would be able to do it. Um,
Why?
the only way you can ensure that life will never return in any sort of capacity is you would have to blow up the planet.
Oh, well, you see, we don't have to be 100% sure.
Well, if that was your goal to end all suffering,
No,
you
no,
would
no,
really
no.
want.
The goal is not to end all suffering. It's to end as much suffering as we can. Right? So we're not going to trip over ourselves over a small technicality like you're presenting now. Right? We're going to do as much as we can and not look for some small, tiny excuse to not even bother trying. Got it?
I didn't mean to come off this way as like arguing with you. I'm just genuinely like
But people are
concerned.
saying, oh, if you can't do it perfectly, then you shouldn't even bother, right? And they're also saying, oh, you can't do it, you can't make sure life doesn't come back. It's a level of arrogance that needs to be done away with, right? You can't decide what is possible and what isn't. You're not a scientist, and even if you were, you wouldn't be able to say extinction is impossible, right? Most of the planets in the universe are barren with no life, right? It's not impossible. It's not beyond the limits of imagination to think that Earth could be made uninhabitable. And again, we don't need it to be, we don't need God to come down and touch us on the forehead and say this will 100% work. And, there's no downsides, no risks of it at all. So even if there's a chance extinction will fail, we should still try anyway, right? There's a good chance it will succeed. And yeah, there's no point just trying to give up before we've even tried.
And that's fair. I mean, may I ask you something then?
Yeah.
It, if that's the case where, we aren't ever going to be 100% sure it's going to work, right? Well, then why not?
You can't be 100% sure with anything, right? We can be,
Yeah.
the only thing we can be 100% sure of is that suffering will continue for billions of years if we do nothing.
But
So
would
that's
you
much
say
worse,
that?
right? People are like, oh my God, what if there's a chance extinction doesn't work? It's like, dude, the alternative is to just allow all of the suffering. How is that better? What the fuck?
But I guess like why not reallocate your energy and resources to find an alternative route to like
There
end
is
some.
there is no alternative route.
Well, I mean, there's alternative routes to
No, 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 no.
suffer.
Look, I'm an expert on this. I can tell you that it is physically impossible to provide safety for life with 100% certainty. So extinction provides a certainty of safety, whereas nothing else can do that. As long as life exists, it will be in infinite danger, right? And essentially, unless you have omniscience, then there will always be infinite unknowns, and you can never have 100% certainty of safety. So without omniscience, which could potentially provide certainty of safety, only extinction can do that, right? If I have a child today, it's physically impossible to guarantee it won't have a bad life. If you don't have that child, you are guaranteeing it won't have a bad life.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. I guess I'm just kind of lost because we backtracked. Like, we said that we can't guarantee 100% that extinction will work.
Yeah,
So
that
if
would be
that's the
autistic. That would be autistic, right? You would have to be autistic to require a 100% guarantee of anything, right? If there's a child across the road asking for help, you wouldn't say, I'm not crossing that road without 100% guarantee that, I'm not going to be hit by a car. And yet you're doing the exact same thing with extinction. It just doesn't make any sense.
all right, man. Yeah, I don't know. The whole movement kind of lost me. So I guess we'll agree to disagree.
Okay, well, to be honest, we're probably happy to have lost you there, because it sounds like you'll never do the right thing unless there's 100% guarantee, which is like cowardice, basically, right? Complete cowardice. So, if you're thinking, yeah, I might join the movement, but only if there's a 100% guarantee that everything will work perfectly, then we don't want you. Hello, how
Hello,
you doing?
James. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
So I want to a few questions about the extinction movement and general extinction. If we are basing off that we need to end all humanity for a few, then don't we need to carry humanity on because a few are having pleasure? Doesn't that make sense? If you are
No,
suffering,
because by that logic, you don't care who's having pleasure, even if it's a child abuser raping a kid, right?
yeah, I think that's a bit dramatic,
Well, I don't care if you think it's dramatic. It's reality. You simply can't deal with the real world. That's what you mean.
Nah, I can't. But
Yeah, as soon as I bring up something that's actually happening in the real world, you're like, "Whoa,
okay.
that's a dramatic example. We can't talk about the actual sufferers. We have to pretend they don't exist." Remember?
Okay, so if you're so pro extinction against humans,
All right, thanks for coming up. All right, moving on. He was probably about to ask why I don't kill myself, because he had no argument, right? None whatsoever. So of course I trashed him. All right, moving on. Let's see who's next. We've got Lily coming up. Hello. How you doing?
Good evening, James. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Wonderful to hear. I will just give you a tip. Watch your words carefully when you speak about self-yeeting, deleting yourself. Just choose your words carefully. Anyway, I had a question for you. So, existence, it relies on our perception, right? I just want to know.
It does not rely on perception, no.
All right, so I wanted to ask you this. So, if there's a tree in a forest and it falls and there's no one there to hear it, does it make a sound?
Yeah.
You believe it still makes a sound. Right, have you heard of Schrodinger's cat?
Yeah, it's got nothing to do with it.
and the slit theory study.
So what's this got to do with should we allow cruelty?
No, I'm leaning somewhere, if I may.
No, you may not.
Yeah,
Right, get to the point.
Yeah, I'm getting to the point. So it is our perception affects our reality,
Okay,
right?
thanks for coming up. No point to get to, I guess. Look, if you want to do a philosophy channel, you can go and start your own TikTok for that. Hello, how you doing?
Fantastic. How's it going?
Yeah, good, thank you. Do you have any questions for us today? Okay, I guess not. Fair play. I mean, look, I don't know what like TikTok can really do about that kind of stuff, right? Or what I could possibly do. You know, if someone turns that on their camera, there's not much you can really do about it but kick them out. Okay, let's see who else we got. Hello, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, we've got a guest violation for that. Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right today.
Great.
So,
Do you have any questions?
yeah, I saw one of your videos talking about total extinction, and I thought it was pretty hilarious and certainly a solution that could come to fruition. But now I see you arguing this on debates, and I mean, I think that's pretty hilarious. You actually think this is the way that we should go?
Okay, thank you for those incredibly intelligent thoughts there. Not a single morsel of intelligence there. We're going to do much better with our little friend Exasperated here. Hello, how you doing?
Doing well, James, doing well. Would you say, hypothetically speaking, the goal is to press a red button to cause total extinction?
No. So we don't care if it's a red button or if it's a different method. We don't care what the method is.
So let's say God comes down to you, James, with a red button, and he says to you, James, you can press this red button and it causes total extinction. But
I would say that's a waste of time to think about because it's never going to happen. So keep your fantasies about God coming down and giving you gifts to yourself. Mancini, hello, how you doing?
Hi, I'm pretty good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, so it's kind of building off the last point you made about you don't care about the method of which extinction is thought about. So you don't care if it's an artificial or natural means of extinction?
Natural means, well, we would rather it be artificial, yeah, 100%. But you see, us carrying, you can't carry out extinction with natural means. So, no, we're not,
No,
we don't care about
like
natural
a lucky
extinction. That's not going to happen.
cataclysm, something that caused the dinosaurs to become extinct. That could happen.
No. There was no extinction, right? Life didn't go extinct. So, partial extinction.
Right.
No. Partial extinction is not good enough. We need total extinction.
Well, wouldn't you want to take what you can get and like have little extinction over
No.
time?
We're not going to take what we can get. We're not going to do what you would suggest and literally sit around doing nothing and praying for an asteroid which will only wipe out half of the life on the planet, right? Do better. What's wrong with you? Honestly. Okay, we have Sam, a troll, coming up next. Sam, hello, how you doing?
Did you say I'm a troll?
Yes.
We've talked 2 times and you just backed me into the baby argument. How am I a troll?
Because I've determined you to be a troll. So how can I help you today?
Right, but I simply just wanted to know more about your take, and then you backed me into so you support the most egregious act.
This is why you're a troll, Sam. You could have said, yeah, let's dive into it. Here's the conversation. Instead, we've wasted loads of time. All right, moving on. We've got more people in the queue. Plenty of fresh faces, new names, new people. Hello.
I have a question.
Sure.
So, if you get rid of all life, how do you stop it coming back?
With science, right? So preventing life coming back is the most important part. So we have to make the world uninhabitable, basically, and we have to find ways to do that.
So how would we do that?
With science. So we research, we find a way, we understand the problem, and we come up with a solution.
Okay.
All right. Any more questions?
No, that's it.
Thank you very much, Stephen. It's been lovely having you. And yeah, we're doing pretty well with the queue today. We've got lots of people in the queue. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Do you have any questions for the pro-extinction movement today?
Yes. I've given it some thought, and I've realized your position is impossible.
Why?
Already the universe was stripped of life, and then it came into being.
When?
So the only here on Earth.
When?
Billions. Whenever the first
When?
microbe.
So,
Where?
So when was it stripped of life? When?
Before the first eukaryotes or whatever was on Earth.
The what?
Before the first life on Earth.
Yeah, so you're saying that before life was on Earth, life was stripped from Earth. That doesn't make any sense. What are you talking
I'm
about?
saying life didn't exist in the universe. So even if you do eradicate all life in the universe, who's to say it will simply not come again?
Well, the point is to try and make it uninhabitable.
So then don't you need to appoint a living being to facilitate that and need to preserve life?
Yeah, so it's not about removing life. It's mostly about preventing life. The majority of our mission is to understand how life develops and how to prevent it from developing.
How are you going to keep the universe and any planet uninhabitable without
science?
No one will be there to do the science because they'll all be extinct.
We will be there. We will be there. So shut up. You have no idea what you're talking about. You have no argument, so you're just making things up instead of saying anything serious. All right, I can see what you're doing. Hello, how you doing?
Hey man, I was just wondering, would you volunteer to be the first person to be eradicated?
Yes.
Do it right now.
Well, no, it's not time for that yet, right? We have to.
No, it's time. Would you do it right now?
No, I don't believe you, right? I know you're not a leader in the movement, so I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not going to take your word for it. Sam, you're back. How you doing? You feeling any better?
I'm good. I'm calm. I just really wanted to talk about that, but I see you got a little heated. It's okay. We're back.
Well, if you're not going to waste time this time, then yeah, let's hear what you have to say.
I know you know what, you picked the topic actually, because you think I'm a troll, so I don't want to direct it in any sort of way for you.
Do you think we should make suffering unacceptable? Right now, most people find it acceptable. Someone has a bad life. That's acceptable.
I would disagree that they find it acceptable.
Say again?
I would disagree they find it acceptable. I think a lot of people are trying their best to minimize suffering at all times in every manner, you know?
Really? You think that people are empathetic and selflessly driven?
I mean, like, there's a word for it. I mean, I know people don't often do charitable acts, but, like, is a charity not a real thing to you?
It's a scam, basically, yeah.
There are some scams in charities. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree there. But, I mean, the act of charity as a philosophy term, not just, like, a business model.
We don't care, okay? We don't care about charity. It's just a scam, right? Charity is a scam, right? It's just a way for people to make money off of you feeling bad. That's literally all it is. Hello, how you doing?
Hi. So doesn't the word needed kind of presuppose that future Earthlings can't rid the Earth of suffering?
Say that again. I can't hear you very well.
The topic denotes it's needed to stop all suffering. That implies that you know for a fact that suffering will exist in the future.
Yes.
And I'm saying that future generations may be able to rid the Earth of suffering.
Yeah, well, we shouldn't wait for that, right? We should rid the world of suffering now.
Why should you strip them of the chance to prevent suffering?
Why should we strip the happy people of their happiness? Why should you force the sufferers to keep suffering, right? That's like a slave owner saying, why should you take away my money? No. We are going to take away the slaves. We're not going to wait for 1,000 years so that slavery 2.0 can come out and, we can have even better slavery. No, we're just going to end the slavery, end the suffering, end the cruelty with total extinction. And we don't care if any happy people suffer as a result, right? We have to do this for the victims who are suffering horrifically, right? Nothing else matters. Happy people don't matter. Lewis, hi, how you doing?
Good. One question. Do you ever get tired of being such a fucking faggot?
No.
I could tell. Hitler Twink. You should get it tattooed across your forehead.
Do you think it would grow the movement? All right, thanks for coming up, Lewis. Okay, the queue is now empty, so if anybody has any serious questions, any real questions, then please feel free to join the queue and let's have a proper conversation. Thank you, Tim, for blocking him. Tim is our moderator, and Tim in the chat also does edits of my debates if you want to check out his channel. Okay, next guest is coming up. Hello.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, how's it going?
Okay, so I want to ask you a question that, maybe is not asked a lot. It's a different approach. I want to get at basically the underlying assumptions that you are making and a lot of people are making. And it might sound a little weird, so I just urge you not to reject it instantly, okay?
Okay.
So, why do you think that suffering is bad?
Well, it's obvious, right? Child abuse is bad. Starving to death is bad. It's obvious. You're essentially asking, why is screaming in pain bad? It's essentially a stupid question. You might as well be asking, why is 1 + 1 = 2?
I don't find it that obvious because, okay, yes.
So you don't think child abuse is bad?
Well, hold on, because
just answer that question. Is child abuse bad?
Depends on what you mean by bad.
So you don't you don't think child abuse is bad? Just say yes. Child abuse is bad.
It is bad in the sense that, like.
So you don't think child abuse is bad, do you? You don't think it's bad. You're struggling to even say yes.
Well, you're trying to get an emotional kind of.
Yeah, we're trying to. No, I'm trying to get you to
obviously,
simply say yes. Child abuse
that
is
emotional
bad.
response does exist.
You're unable to say child abuse is bad, right? Philosophy has rotted your brain to the point where you literally do not know if child abuse is bad or not. Look, this is what philosophy will do to you. It will rot your brain into absolutely nothingness, to the point where you'll be like, is child abuse bad? I don't think so.
Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
So you're for total extinction, right?
Yeah.
So why don't you start with yourself?
Because that doesn't cause total extinction. So we have to do it actively, not just hope for it.
Yeah, but you want...
All right, thanks for that, like the millionth time somebody's asked, why don't you start with yourself? As if I'm going to fall for that. Hello, how you doing?
Okay, before we start, right, are you going to remove me after 5 seconds?
Yes.
Okay, so I can't get my point out.
Well, you're wasting our time right now. You could be trying to do it, but you're just proving that you're a time waster.
Okay. Why do you believe extinction would work?
I don't.
What?
Yeah, we don't believe in things like, Christians do and stuff like that. It's not like believing in God, having faith. No, it's that we should try to do it, right? Try to end all suffering.
Okay, so by ending all suffering, you want to end everything else?
That's the only way to do it. Duh.
Nah, it's not.
No counter-argument detected.
In a perfect world, there would be no suffering, but we can't get a perfect world.
Okay, I'm not hearing a counter-argument here. That's a change of subject.
Okay. Let me hear your argument again, sorry.
Okay, extreme suffering is unacceptable, and we shouldn't allow it anymore.
Okay, I agree with that, but I do not believe extinction is the way to end it.
Why?
Because why does the needs of the suffering outweigh the needs of...
Well, that's a different question, isn't it? So you're changing subject because you can't actually answer the question. So every time a question comes up and you're like, oh, I can't answer that because that completely makes me look silly, so I'm just going to change subject and just talk about something completely different. That's what you're doing without...
I agree with you that it's unacceptable, but I'm saying extinction isn't the way.
Yeah, and again, when I asked you why, you just completely changed subject.
No, I asked the question back. I asked why.
No, you completely changed subject.
No, I didn't.
Right? So we went on, is it possible to, should we do it, right? Instead of answering that question, you changed subject onto something else. So look, you're not capable of having this conversation. You're just not. You're not, unfortunately. Now, the more capable people who can have these conversations will be dodging less questions. And so the less capable you are, the less intelligent you are, the more you will be dodging questions, basically. Hello, how you doing?
Hi, so I was wondering, how are you planning to go through the whole thing? How are you planning to extinct 8 billion people? That's kind of hard.
We'll just find a way, however we have to do it.
Yeah, but you need to get more people to kind of...
That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. Okay, preach. You can kick me now.
All right, fair enough. You know what? W guest. I'll give her a follow. Yeah. All right, moving on. We've got lots of people in the queue to get through. Let's start at the bottom, start bringing them up. Okay, we have... Who have we got? Hello!
So, what about murder?
What about it?
Is it a plan?
No, so we need more humans temporarily. So murdering humans does not cause extinction. We have to do extinction as a government, as a proper organized force. Otherwise, it will never happen properly, especially if a government is trying to stop you.
So, what are your specific plans for this?
To grow the movement with peaceful activism until we have enough people to take over the world and start running it ethically and start doing animal extinction, researching how life develops and how to prevent it from developing, and yeah, doing making as much of the world as uninhabitable as possible.
Okay, so you don't consider murdering a plan?
No, so we aren't going to be using murder and running around stabbing people. We'll be using euthanasia, putting people to sleep, and we might be able to make it nice. It might even feel good, right? If we use morphine or drugs or something, it might be a nice way to go. But yeah, if people are running away, we might have to shoot them in the back or something. Hopefully not, but we'll do whatever we have to do to make sure we get every last human.
Okay, have a good day.
All right, thanks for coming up. But yeah, look, unless we make sure we get every last human, dig them out of the underground bunkers and put them to sleep, then they're just going to keep reproducing and causing more suffering forever. Now, we do have to do animals first, but yeah, eventually we will be moving on to humans. And essentially, there will be pretty much no restrictions on how we can do it. Now, at first there will be, but the last resorts will have no restrictions. Hello, how you doing?
Why did you follow a little girl? We all saw you follow a little girl. You said, "Oh, I really like you," and then you followed her. Why'd you do that? Yeah, go ahead, kick me.
Thanks
You
for
fucking
coming on,
child.
Luna. Thanks for coming on. Let's see who else we got. We've got, and you don't know how old they are, right? They could be 18. A lot of the women that come on here have a young sounding voice. Hello, Stephen.
I got three things, okay? Three things. So one is, the Muslim bombers who come and blow people up. Do you think they're good or bad?
Bad.
Because what? It creates more suffering or what?
It's part of the cycle of suffering, the machine of suffering, right? So only total extinction will end all suffering. And without that, everything is just a different type of suffering.
Okay, I got one more. So in the future, if you make animals extinct and you're on to the last few people, why would you kill the people instead of just making having children illegal? If they want to live, why are you killing them?
The thing is that it's not safe for anyone to exist. It's not safe for life to exist. And while life exists in this world, it's in infinite danger and unlimited risk of extreme suffering, unlimited risk of being trapped in a life of hell. And there's no solution to that. It's physically impossible to solve the problem that life is in infinite, unlimited danger. You can improve the conditions, but you cannot solve the problem that infinite risk of suffering is there at all times. You can get trapped in a life of pure hell at all times, and there's no way to solve that problem. It's physically impossible. And you can say you can achieve a perfect world where everyone's happy, but if there's still infinite risk, then the next day it could go infinitely wrong. So most people have a standard of saying, who cares about safety? Who cares if anybody suffers? I probably won't suffer, and I don't care if anybody else does suffer. And so that same mentality would see people go into a simulation or something, not care if it's safe, then it goes wrong, and they end up being tortured for billions of years or something. So in every way, shape, and form, we have to have a better standard of safety for life to exist, which is certainty of safety. And again, that's only achievable with either extinction or omniscience. And obviously extinction is something that we can do. We've been making species of animals go extinct with sticks and stones, basically. So animal extinction, human extinction, it's something that's extremely possible.
Okay. But even if someone wants to live, you'd still kill them.
Well, yeah, because the alternative is risking their extreme suffering. So what do we value more? Their safety from being trapped in a life of hell, or allowing them to have a little bit of fun in infinite danger, right? It's obvious that the safety of non-existence is preferable to the shallow pleasures of this world that only endanger you.
And if we find like aliens, will we kill them too?
Yeah.
So literally just no more life ever.
Yeah, ideally a universe with no life and no possibility of life ever again.
Okay. Cheers.
All right, thank you. And look, it's not that we hate the universe or anything. You should never actually allow life to develop and exist in unsafe conditions, right? What if children were starting to evolve out of your toilet or something and were living in filth, right? You shouldn't allow that to happen, and you shouldn't allow life to exist in the dangers of this world, essentially. Okay, so we've got more people in the queue. Let's see who else we've got. Bring more people on. Sweet. Let's see. Hello, how's it going?
Hi, you okay?
Yeah, good, thank you.
I'm just trying to understand this because it seems like it's fake, but I don't know. What is your motive behind this? Like, why do you think you'll be able to succeed in this, little
Because
movement?
we have to do it for the victims of suffering. And unless we try and provide safety from being forced to exist and being made to suffer, then, people and life will continue to force the innocents into suffering and lives of hell. So unless we use force to defend the victims of suffering, force will be used against us.
I understand what you're saying, but who are you to make that decision? You and whoever joins you and whoever tries to make this happen.
It doesn't matter who you are, basically. So
no, just I mean in a sense of like, what gives you the right to be making this decision and then go
you don't need rights. You don't need rights, basically. But
you said people who don't want to go through with this as well, you're going to have to eventually, unfortunately, chase them and do what you need to do if you can't put them to sleep peacefully. So that means nobody else has the right to live. You're just forcefully doing this.
Well, we're saying everyone has the right to certainty of safety from suffering. So the only way to enforce that is with total extinction, right? Everybody should have the right not to be forced to suffer.
But this is a big responsibility upon yourself, whether you believe in the hereafter or whatever you might believe in.
Right? Someone's got to do it.
It's a great big responsibility for you to want to eradicate the whole world, even
well,
though
if we all do it together, then we can share that.
You don't even know the first thing about Earth. You don't know anything. Do you know what I mean? Like nobody knows anything about Earth.
Wow,
does that make sense?
Quite a claim. I don't know anything.
But
wow.
nobody knows ultimately everything about Earth for you to come to this decision.
We don't need to know everything. We already know that child abuse is bad.
But why don't we find other ways to make Earth safe as a humanity, as society? We can put religion and everything
because we've
to the
looked
side.
into it and it's impossible. It's not actually an option.
I don't know. I think there's ways around it without.
Well, you have no idea what you're talking about, do you?
There's people out there who are happy, who are living their life. You don't know.
Yeah, so really, you don't actually. It's not really about is it possible. It's that you don't care. It's that as long as there's one happy person, who cares how many people suffer? That's your real position, right?
It's not that though. Everyone's got their own.
It is. It's just you've already said it. There's some happy people. Who cares if anyone suffers?
But the suffering, you can come together and do something about it.
Yeah, and we're going to do total extinction and get rid of people like you and everything else, all life, and all of the selfish people that say, it's just a bit of suffering. Who cares about the sufferers? We're happy, so let them burn, let them scream in pain. No, we're going to get rid of that and your horrible system that supports it. Hello, how you doing?
What's up, man?
Yeah, I'm good. Do you have any questions?
So, what do you think of Zionism? Or Zionists?
It's just another thing that's got to be made extinct, along with everything else.
So it all has to go.
Everything. No exceptions.
How long is this going to take?
Just as soon as we can do it.
I mean, these are generalized fucking responses. You say that nobody responds.
So
to
you would rather
can't
that I
respond to it.
arrogantly say it's going to take exactly 99 years. If I promised you it takes exactly 99 years and a half to reach total extinction, that would give you more comfort. Oh wow, this guy's got it all planned out.
Yeah,
he
if you
can
actually
see the
had a
future.
concise plan.
Yeah.
Fucking organization.
So you'll follow any idiot that gives you a promise, right? Oh, I promise everything. I can tell you exactly when I'm going to do it. Yeah, I'll promise everything. And you'll be like, oh, amazing. And as soon as someone says, we're not sure exactly what the method is, but we're doing everything we can, you'll be like, oh, what? Not good enough. Like the level of childish immaturity and impatience here, right? This is what leads people to follow religious cult leaders and stuff like that. As long as they say, oh yeah, total extinction in 99.25 years, and it's going to happen in this way and exactly that way, then you'll be like, oh, this guy really knows what he's talking about. When actually they're lying to you, they're over-promising, they're gaslighting you, and you're just lapping it up, right? So that's what they want. They want me to say, yeah, total extinction, 10 years from now, exactly 10 years from now, to the day, right? We've got it all figured out. Yeah, if you want to follow a cult leader who's going to lie to you and promise false things, then go and find someone that does that. The pro-extinction movement will be honest and transparent, and we will not overpromise. We will say, yeah, we can't guarantee extinction will work. You know, for example, what if an asteroid wipes out all of humanity? Animals will continue to suffer. Aliens will continue to suffer. So yeah, it's possible we'll fail, but we should still try. Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing awesome. Okay, so what are you trying to what are you saying here with this?
We should.
First, yeah, what are you saying? Sorry.
Yeah, we should make sure that the universe has no life and no possibility of life ever again, or at the very least Earth, if we can, so that there's no more suffering.
Okay. And what suffering are you talking about specifically?
All of it, but especially the extreme suffering, like lives of pure hell. That's really unacceptable.
Okay, so you yourself want to die so that everybody just dies? Yeah.
Yeah. So extinctionists understand that we are in infinite danger of being trapped in a life of hell and horrific suffering. So we understand that we would be better off not existing, as is the same for every life form in the world.
Okay, now I'm another person here, but so you said that in one of your videos you were here to prevent all life from happening, but if it were possible, if you had access to something that could destroy the whole universe and just kill everyone, would you use it?
Yeah, I mean, the only question would be, is this thorough enough? So, for example, if we could destroy Earth right now, we wouldn't do it in case we can actually achieve universe-wide extinction. So we shouldn't rule that out and rush and do Earth. And in the same way, we shouldn't just rush and blow up the universe or something if there's a possibility that it's going to come back, and we should have done a better job. So we have to leave it to the science and not just guess it, right? Not take risks if we can avoid it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Other person here. Yeah. But I don't know. Because me and my friend, I want to make babies with her. So I'm so genuinely.
That is so out of context.
No, genuinely. I'm not trolling. I'm
not carrying your child.
I know, but I want, you know what I mean? It's just so I want to be able to carry her child before this world ends. You know what I mean? So
Fuck no, I'm leaving.
No, stop, baby,
No,
please.
No!
No! No! Bro, you made me.
Look, this is why we need extinction, okay? Anyway, as it turns out, we actually need more humans temporarily. So animal extinction will probably take hundreds, if not thousands of years. And if we go extinct before that, then they'll continue to suffer. So we do strictly need humanity to continue reproducing indefinitely. So the only time we will say we don't want more humans or we want the population to decline, which is not now right now. We want the population to increase. The only time we would support human extinction is if we can replace ourselves with robots and AI, and we can go extinct and they can carry on the extinction mission. So until that happens, we need more humans. So until robots can replace us, until the day arrives, right, which might never happen, right? So because that could never happen as well, you don't know, right? You can't guarantee that we can replace ourselves with robots. So we are the only solution for animals and their suffering. So we have to keep reproducing so that we can help them, right? If humanity starts to decline in population now, then we are risking human extinction. And that would mean that we cannot prevent animal suffering or alien suffering. So yeah, we have to keep reproducing temporarily so we can do animal extinction and other extinction before human extinction, right? So if you want to have kids, go for it, right? The more the better. Okay, moving on. Let's see who else we have in the queue. Any more interesting people? Perhaps some serious people. Hello.
Hi. Hi. Hi, James.
Yeah, hello.
I was thinking about your argument. You know what? In life, the only thing that is guaranteed for every living creature is death. Death is the only thing we are guaranteed.
And taxes.
Now, death is definitely guaranteed. More than taxes.
Death's
You
not
may
always
not live
guaranteed,
to,
right?
you
There's
may
lots of
not
life forms
live
on
to
Earth
pay
that
your
have been alive
taxes.
for thousands of years.
But they've all gone.
And we might cure aging. And you might have people create simulations and trap people in it and torture them. So, death is not always going to be guaranteed.
It's all assumptions. Death is the only thing guaranteed. In fact, we
Well,
don't even.
you should write a book about it then, because we don't care. That's got nothing to do with anything. Okay, moving on. Let's see who else we've got. And if anybody else wants to debate or have any questions, feel free to join the queue and we'll get you up. Yeah, Black Mirror, absolutely. Look, that kind of stuff really could happen. Super torture.
Hello.
Hello.
So I saw your TikTok on, do you wish that your mom aborted you or something? And I do. I wish that I was an abortion, but, I'm here now. So I'm all for extinction, of course, but I want to ask, how can I cope with not being, extinct already? How can I cope?
Yeah, well, all of us are obviously in the same position, and we cope by to help end all suffering and not just our own.
Oh, well, thank you so much. That's all I wanted to ask.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, look, if there was no activism to do, then yeah, extinctionists probably would just unalive themselves. If there was literally nothing to do to help anyone else, and it was just ourselves that we had to look after, then yeah, we would be better off not existing. That would be the only thing to do for ourselves, essentially. So, hello, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm pretty good, man. What's up?
Yeah, good, thank you. Do you have any questions?
Yeah. I'm very well versed in antinatalism and extinctionism and whatnot. But I heard you say earlier talking about robots and AI replacing humans.
Yeah.
When was that added to extinctionism? Is that your own ideological preference?
No, that is our official stance on it.
Are you a representative?
Yeah, I'm one of the leaders of the movement.
Oh, how brilliant! I've heard a lot about it. But why? I would say suffering comes through the subconscious, no?
So you're pro-suffering?
Oh, I'm not much of a Nietzschean. I'm pretty anti-suffering, anti-utilitarian. I am an antinatalist.
So why are you using some sort of argument to justify?
No, I'm asking a question. I promise I'm not baiting you. I'm asking where suffering comes from. Is it just existence? Because that's where I believe it comes from.
Existence, sentience, life.
Yeah. Do you think animals suffer as much. Like humans are animals, but non
Animals
heavily.
suffer as well, yeah. I mean, look,
No.
most animals are getting eaten alive. That's worse suffering than anything humans are going through.
Yeah, of course. Is it? I'm like what I'm getting to, boiling it down. What makes suffering different for humans and animals?
Why? Why does it matter?
It doesn't, because I mean it does.
Look,
If
if you're asking a question, there should be a point to it, right? If you're
yeah,
asking a
if
question
a
for no reason,
organism
then there's something wrong with you.
if an organism is trying to exterminate the rest of the organism, there is something inherently different with that organism than other organisms, So what is different than human suffering with other animal suffering, if that makes sense?
It doesn't make sense, no. So, I mean, both animals and humans, they both suffer.
Of course, I get that.
And we should stop it all with total extinction. It's as simple as that.
Do you believe in consent and autonomy in this?
No.
No. Why so?
Well, no. I mean, look, life violates consent and autonomy. So if you just respect autonomy and consent, then you end up allowing extreme suffering.
It's true. So how would you go about this?
We're growing the movement until we have enough people to take over the world, start running it ethically, and start doing animal extinction and researching how life develops and how to prevent it developing, and trying to make as much of the world as uninhabitable as possible, beyond Earth, ideally, as well.
So it's also accelerationism.
No, it's nothing to do with acceleration. We're against that.
Why so?
Because we need a stable society while we do extinction.
Okay. So it is like trying to take away the suffering through ending suffering altogether.
It's about providing safety from suffering.
Yes, I understand it, like morally. And I'm also not fully, I'm not against it by any means. It's the only ethical position. Once again, I am an antinatalist. Just curious on, you said you're a leader, so why not press a little bit, But
yeah, the problem with antinatalism is it doesn't help animals and it doesn't help anyone else's children. So it effectively helps nobody, whereas extinctionism is trying to help everybody.
Yeah. Help. Yeah. I would say it's like pretty egoistic, antinatalism.
In what way?
Yeah, it's very self-serving,
So helping everyone is self-serving?
No. Antinatalism.
Oh, right.
Not extinction.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like doing nothing and then pretending you're a hero, basically.
Yeah, for sure. I believe antinatalism isn't such a grand, cause. Extinctionism is way grander. Have to, of course, do more research. Do you have any literature?
You can read. We have lots to read on our website, if that helps.
Yeah, because I've read like the basics, Schopenhauer, core and like other, like heavy, but like they're not accelerationists. I've actually read any.
Yeah, our movement is actually against philosophy. So we believe in activism and taking action and ethics, not philosophy.
Taking ethics out of philosophy.
No. So focusing on ethics and forgetting about all of the, hoity-toity philosophy, right? Which is just kind of, it doesn't actually serve anything. So ethics is essentially the better way forward. So forget philosophy, focus on ethics.
Is not to get into semantics, but isn't ethics a branch of philosophy?
No, people want everything to be a branch of philosophy because they're obsessed with philosophy, even though it does nothing and is actually bad for you. So people think that logic is a branch of philosophy. It's like, no, we use logic every day when we think, right? It's not a branch of philosophy, and neither is ethics.
Yeah. So like I think this is just like a linguistic, because
no. So philosophy is for fun. Ethics is serious.
Yeah.
There's a big difference, right? Philosophy is just for fun. Ethics is like, oh no, there's people suffering, we have to go help. Philosophy is like, who cares if anyone's suffering? Let's just think for fun.
Yeah. What I was like originally gonna say is like philosophy. PhD means philosophy. It's like you have a philosophy and blah 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 blah. Philosophy was originally math, science, ethics, logic, but it was.
He has disconnected. Okay, fair enough. Let's see who else we've got. We've got Cora coming up into the extinction zone. Cora, how you doing?
Hi, James. How are you?
I'm good. What did you think
Fine.
of the movie?
It's great. It's absolutely great.
I love it.
I can't see you no more. No, it's great. And you said you only paid $20 for doing this?
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing.
So yeah, I've for anyone that hasn't seen it, I've just released a 4-minute AI movie about extinction, and it cost £23 for a month of grok, which you can make really high quality. You can make really high quality AI films and movies with grok now for like 20 quid a month, basically. And yeah, so I made that movie
It's 20
in
quid a month. Yes.
yeah, I made that movie in about 2 days, and it used a quarter of my monthly credits for grok. So I'm out. I can't make any more movies this week, but the next 3 weeks I'll be able to make more, and that's all for 20 quid a month.
Ah, okay.
People
Okay,
are asking,
that's
where can we
good
watch
to
the
know.
movie? It's the last video I've just posted on my TikTok. You can go and
Video,
watch.
yes. It's really great. It's really great. It's very creative. I just wanted to ask, I hope this, the live stream with Steve we've seen on YouTube. I don't know who was there. I hope that girl that was there was not his wife or his girlfriend. I don't know. Was she?
Yeah, his girlfriend.
That was his girlfriend. And I said that thing with the 12 women. I'm kind of sorry for saying it now.
Oh, don't worry
Is
about
that a problem?
No, you're overthinking it.
I mean, he's very outspoken, isn't he, Steve?
Steve is very outspoken, yeah. He does not hold
Yes.
back at all.
Yes. Okay. So that's not it. It's not horrible that I mentioned it. I mean, it was a joke in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, we don't blame you, Cora. Honestly, as long as you keep donating, you can say anything you want.
Anything I want. Well, that's great. That's great.
Within reason.
Because I wanted to say feminism. Steve said it doesn't matter. We can help the women in Afghanistan. We can help the women anywhere. But it's true that we're held back by patriarchy. Even I am.
Yeah.
Even I am. If I don't have the approval,
But you can't.
the
You
one-
can never get rid of the patriarchy. That's the problem. So you can never solve any problem without extinction. So there's no point trying to solve all of the problems of life and not do extinction.
Yeah, that's true.
You just do extinction
That's-
instead.
That's true. Okay, so I was kind of a bit shocked when I thought, oh my God, that's his wife or his girlfriend, and now I said that. But I hope it's no problem.
No,
And I
it's no
do
problem.
I do a little activity for the movement. Tell him that.
I will.
Okay, that's great. And yeah, so I would just advocate for more gentle debates. I've sent some videos from Dean Withers into your chat group.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I
you see, there's actually a reason why we don't do such gentle debates. Yeah.
But you lose people. You lose people. I'm
We
sure
don't-
you do.
Anybody that we lose was probably going to leave anyway, right? If somebody's going to leave if you're rude, then they weren't here for the right reasons anyway, basically.
But why? Why not listening first? Why not try?
It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. So it's much better to just scream at a group of people and tell them about extinction instead of letting them all one by one ask every single question they've got and waste years and years of your time. Unfortunately,
Yeah, but you know how
unfortunately, that is the case.
extremely successful Dean Withers is.
But
I
he's a
mean,
pro-lifer. That's different. So it's a lot. It's very
he
easy to be
speaks
successful
against
if you're
Trump,
pro-life,
so
right?
so we can find there a common ground. He speaks against Trump. He speaks about. I mean, there's a common ground. And he listens to the people. He brings in lots of humor. He's just
I like his videos. Okay, I've seen a few of his videos. I do think
yes.
he's a nice guy and everything. But I don't think you can say there's common ground unless he's pro-extinction.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's the extreme part. Okay, but I'm fine with that.
If we can get him on the show or something, that'd be great. Yeah, if I can have in contact with him, then why not?
I don't know, he's probably too famous, but it's your channel. You do it how you like. I just say you could make more people come to your movement.
We don't want more people. We don't want them. We don't want them. So again, we would rather be rude and aggressive and not have loads of time wasters waste all of our time, right? Because if the thing is, if we are too kind to people and too nice to them, like you're suggesting, then we'll just get loads of people wasting our time, essentially, saying, oh, I've got this emotional problem, and oh, let's think about feminism for extinction. And it will just be like, okay, this isn't working. So we have to forget all of that and just focus on extinction. And yeah, unfortunately, being aggressive and rude sometimes is actually the right thing to do. And the alternative would essentially just waste time and pander to people that aren't serious anyway. So as much, I don't like it, and I totally agree with you. And if there was a better way to do it, if I could be nicer, then I would do it. But there's very good reasons why we don't do that. It's not just for no reason.
Okay, I can agree with that. So you do you, and I'm there. Bye, James. Nice talking to you.
Yeah, you too, Cora. Thank you. And for nice people, there's no need to be rude or aggressive, right? Usually, we're only a bit rude if people are rude to us as well. Hello, how you doing?
So you have mentioned before that plants should go extinct too because you think it suffers?
No, because they can evolve to suffer.
No. It doesn't think. Plants...
Yeah, but evolution takes things that don't think, and over time it makes them think, and it makes them suffer.
Then you also said that there should be robots to help us continue this. Then why do you think that robots don't suffer?
Because robots are not going to get eaten alive. They're not going to be, abused by family members and beaten with sticks and kept in a basement. They're not going to starve to death, right? So robots are not going to suffer from, anything that we do, basically.
But they are going to live forever just to continue a purpose of the.
Well, not necessarily. Look, ChatGPT does not suffer, okay? So it's very possible to design AI which cannot be sentient, which cannot suffer.
You don't get the point. I mean, it's going to develop thinking.
Well, if it does, it can make itself go extinct. And honestly, the thing is, right, if we have to make robots that suffer, we don't care, right? They're going to be able to reduce much more suffering. So in the same way that if we have to make humans that suffer, we don't care, right? We'll do it. Yeah, we care, but we'll do it anyway, right? Because we have to end all suffering.
Yeah, but I'm still... it's still debatable that plants suffer.
I've never said that plants suffer.
Yeah, then plants should exist then.
So have you heard of this thing called evolution?
Could you explain that?
Yeah, so when life started on the planet, it was just like cells, basically, like bacteria, microorganisms. And as time goes on, life gets bigger and bigger and more complex and more capable of thinking and suffering. So if you leave life on a planet, then over time it will start to suffer, basically. So you have to get rid of everything Otherwise, that you risk suffering evolving.
Okay. Have a good day.
You too, thank you. But yeah, I regularly encourage people to study evolution, learn about it. It actually answers pretty much all of life's questions. It really does explain the whole world. Okay, hello, how you doing? Let's see. Yes, Shino coming on next. Hello, how you doing? No, they've left. All right, we've got Deborah Morgan, Dexter's sister. Hello.
Hello, James. We spoke before. I'm the antinatalist. I'm just on a different account.
Okay.
And I just have a little statement to say, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Okay. So I think that, like, publicly prominent antinatalism among men functions less as, like, abstract philosophy and more as a performance exercise in policing reproduction and moral authority over women.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's for the male antinatalists. I wanted you to hear that before you came up here and ran your mouth about antinatalism. That's all. Thank you, James.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I hate antinatalists, right? They don't care about animals. They don't care about anyone else's kids. They refuse to have a child and then pretend they're a hero.
They really don't. And when you came up here and didn't acknowledge...
What do you mean they
like,
don't? That's not a... Can you explain what they do instead? Or
Right, so when you
a
came up
simple
here...
contradiction is not very good, right? Do better.
I'm sorry, maybe I misunderstood you. Can you repeat yourself?
Yeah, so I'm against antinatalism, if you didn't know.
Yes, I know that, yes.
Yeah, and they don't really help any animals or other children. So yeah, for us, antinatalism is like the biggest joke possible.
Yes, I'm sorry, I misunderstood you. Yes, I know you think that. And I think the bigger joke is male antinatalists. And we can have a good
But are you not just being sexist, though?
No, I don't think women can be sexist.
I mean, that's sexist, though.
Maybe.
All right, thank you, Deborah Morgan. I'm starting to see why Dexter felt so compelled to do what he did. All right, let's see. We've got Zen coming on next. And anybody else that wants to debate, let's get you in the queue. Zen, welcome back.
So you've convinced me, bro. Just go ahead and unalive yourself and I'll follow right after, all right?
Okay, nice one. Sound. Yeah, that's another W for the movement. Yeah. Total extinction. All I have to do is unalive myself and the planet just explodes. Yeah, it's like Braveheart or Dragonheart, the film, right? He shares a heart with a dragon, and when he dies, the dragon dies. So if I unalive myself, the planet will just go... Yeah, imagine if I actually believed these people when they said that. I'd have to be as insane as they are. Okay, let's get some more people in the queue. There's not anyone to debate. So if you've got a fresh opinion, a fresh take, do you want to debate extinction? Are you going to come up and say, extinction would be wrong because X, Y, and Z? You know, you're going to do something intelligent like that? Or are you going to say, oh, bro, you should start with yourself? Which doesn't tell us anything about why extinction would be wrong. So come on, let's hear it. Hello, how you doing?
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah. So, like, my question would be why life is better than a life that has both good and bad in it.
Because if you go by a principle of saying, you know, life is good as long as there's some good, it doesn't matter how much bad there is, then you end up supporting child abuse as long as the child abuser has the happiness, right? If you don't care about the suffering, then you just end up supporting cruelty.
So you're just saying because of the suffering, yeah?
Yeah, it's not fair for anybody to be forced to suffer, right? So we shouldn't allow that.
But yeah. What if someone says, okay, this would be an example from my point, like this, my view, like my life is like hard sometimes, but I still want to live because there's good parts in it that just make sense living it.
Yeah, but the risk of it going wrong and, you know, the risk of suffering, it makes it not worth it, basically.
how can you just decide that? Like,
It's the it is
have any,
it's the
arguments?
objectively true and objectively correct rational position, basically. So if you actually think about this, then you will come to the same conclusion that actually the infinite danger is not worth the very short amount of pleasure that we get, at the cost of risking going to hell, basically, being trapped in a life of hell, right? It's not worth it.
Okay, so that's just your view of life. My view could be like,
that's not a view of life. That is objective.
no, I can explain. I can explain. Like, okay, my goal of living would be to fully live, for example, even despite the fact that it can hurt. Like, suffering is a part of life. It always has been.
So does that make it okay?
In my opinion, yes.
So for example, if somebody has a culture where it's always been the case that child abuse is okay, you would say, that's fine. As long as that's always been the case, then that's fine. We should never change it. That's the way your brain works.
Okay, so suffering is not just child abuse.
But so yeah, if somebody says, "Well, I've been doing child abuse for a long time. That's the way it's always been," you would say, "Oh, well, fair enough." So you've dodged that question once. Now you're on strike one.
Okay.
Are we going to get a response from this? A reply? Anything?
Yeah. So, wait, let me think.
Okay,
but that still doesn't like decide that you're gonna experience happiness later. Like, even if you get abused, if you're a child, for example, which is a bad thing, of course, but that still doesn't mean you can't experience happiness later in your life.
In every case?
You can't know that.
I'm asking you a question. You're saying that the general rule is that if you get abused as a kid, you will go on to have a good life, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you can't know that. That's
I'm asking
that's
you.
Why you can't
that's
say.
What you said. That's what you said. That's what you said, right? You said they can still go on to have a happy life, right? Which ignores all of those who don't, right? That's the problem. By saying, they can still go on to have a happy life, you're saying, I don't care if 99% of them go on to have a bad life or get murdered.
Yeah.
As long as one goes on to have a happy life, then
the chance is there.
Sorry?
The chance is there. You can just. It doesn't matter because the chance is still there that you can experience.
So child abuse is okay because there's a chance.
Life.
So child abuse is okay because there's a chance that at least one of them will go on to have a good life, and that's all that matters.
No. But if someone was abused as a child, that doesn't mean they should kill themselves.
I never said
that. Because there is a chance. Yeah, but that's the same as extinction because
no, it's not. It's about preventing the child abuse. Prevent the child abuse, right? We should prevent it.
Exactly.
You would happily support a system where 9 out of 10 children that get abused get murdered at the end of the abuse, and you would say, well, think of all the happy kids that go on to survive. Right? If 9 out of 10 get raped to death, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter as long as at least one happy kid survives. Then we don't care how many get raped to death. That's your position. That is your position.
No, because.
Yes.
That's not reality, what you just said.
That is reality. That
90% of
children do get murdered, right?
Look,
you're living in a fantasy bubble where children never get murdered and they always go on to have a happy life.
No, you said 90% of children experience child abuse.
I never said that. I said you would support a system where 90% get murdered and only 10% go on to live a happy life.
Okay, does that mean we should just
you're proving it. You're proving it. You would support 9 out of 10 kids getting raped to death as long as one child is happy. This guy would say, "What? So we should do extinction because 9 out of 10 kids are getting raped to death? We should do extinction. What extinction?
I understand.
No.
Wait. So your idea would be just
So look, you're finished, dude. You're cooked. You're served, right? You've basically admitted that as long as one child is happy, just infinite children getting raped to death doesn't matter. And this is the exact same moral framework that we've been exposing over the last few weeks, right? Where as long as one person is happy, they don't care if everybody is begging for death, right? And they'll still go on and say, but it's not everybody. Literally 99% of the population could be screaming for death. And he'd say, you want extinction? No, it's not everybody. So, he would be the last person, right? So everyone else is screaming, begging for death. And he would say, it's not everybody. So shut up. Stop complaining. You should suffer so that other people can be happy. Even if everybody is happy just so that I can, suffering just so I can be happy, right? It's not everybody, right? It's literally the most childish thing possible, right? Literally, we should only care if it's everybody. Like 9 out of 10 kids are getting raped to death. And we're saying, should we stop this? He would go, it's not everybody. Why should we care unless it's everybody? So again, this position allows for 99% of the population to get raped to death every day. And you'll still say, it's not everybody. So who gives a shit? Right? So why should it have to be 100% of the population being raped to death before we care? Why does it have to be 100%? So one person gets raped to death, who cares? 99% of the population is getting raped to death, who cares? 100%, oh my God, that's not okay. What kind of morality is this? It's the absence of morality. It's the absence of ethics. It's the absence of giving a damn. It's literally any excuse. So the as long as one person is happy mentality, right? It's not an actual rule or mentality. It's trying to hide, right? It's like that's the last bastion of their defense, right? That's the last bastion of their position, right? It's hiding, it's running away, and as we chase after them with logic, right? They'll fall over, and as they're just about to die, right? The last attempt to defend themselves as we're about to make them extinct is it's not everybody, right? But again, not everybody is not a good argument, right? Why should we? What kind of rule? What kind of law would say, yeah, child abuse is fine unless it's everybody getting abused, right? That's what this mentality allows, right? Yeah, animal abuse is okay unless it's 100%, right? So we'll keep our eye on it. If the victims reach 100%, then we have to say it's not fair, it's not right. But 99%, go for it. Who gives a shit, right? Just 99% of the population screaming, begging for death. I sleep. 100% real shit. What is this mentality? It's not serious, right? So they are effectively saying, yeah, if 99% are screaming, I don't care. If it's 100%, I do care. But realistically, they don't care if it's 99 or 100%, right? It's an excuse. It's a lie, right? I only care if it's not everyone, It's like it's something that they've just thought of off the top of their head, right? It's not a serious position. It's like if you catch your child stealing cookies, they'll think of the first lie they can think of, right? Like, oh, my sister told me to do it, or oh, I was just looking. I wasn't actually going to take a cookie. They'll think of anything, right? The first excuse that comes to their head. And so that's what people do with suffering. It's like, well, it's not everybody. It's like, what? So they have no morality, right? So instead of morality, right, they have, I'm struggling to put it into words, but it's like, again, it's like a criminal's last defense, essentially. Oh, it's not everybody. It's like you're exposing your criminal mind, basically, by saying that, right? What kind of mentality says we should allow infinite suffering unless it's everybody? The pro-life mentality, that's which one?
Hello, my brother. Thank you for bringing me up. I saw your video You were
Yes, thank
talking
you.
about suicide, you know. I just want to, so I'm following you up. Are you saying that it's not good, it's selfish?
Yeah, we should end all suffering, not just our own, right? We should end everybody's suffering with total extinction.
Well, I don't think it's selfish though. I mean, it's
Yeah,
people's
look,
choice.
if you're suffering too much, then it's understandable. But you should consider trying to help everybody, including those who can't help themselves, right? So, for example, if somebody commits suicide, they're taking care of their own suffering. And if it's really bad suffering, then it's understandable. But we should consider that there are animals and there are children, there are people who can't help themselves, right? They can't take care of their own suffering. They're trapped. There's no escape, right? So there are those who suffer even worse than us, right? If you want to commit suicide, I'm not saying you should never, ever, ever do it, but I am saying it's worth considering that there are others who can't even commit suicide, and that's why we need total extinction, so that nobody has to commit suicide ever again.
Right. Can I ask you something, my brother?
Yeah.
Uh, have you ever felt like you are alone in the world? Have you ever had that experience?
Yeah.
Okay, let me explain to you what I mean. You see, me, I'm autistic and I have ADHD.
Say
You know,
again?
there are people. I'm autistic and I'm autistic and ADHD.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm not saying that other people don't get depressed or something like that. But when you have this, you feel like, you don't fit in. Anywhere you go, it's like, even when you are not trying to have an argument with people, you still find yourself in that situation.
This is very true. Yeah. Depressed people or people that don't fit into society. Yeah, there's like something always feels wrong, right? And you're around all these happy people and they're talking about, all of their happiness while people are suffering around them, animals are suffering, and it just feels wrong because it's like being in a dystopia. It's like being in an evil place with evil people, and it's like something's wrong here. They're eating animals. They don't care if anybody suffers. So yeah, it feels very strange. Like when I was growing up as a child, I always had a strange feeling like I don't fit in. Why is everyone so strange? And, every time they were talking about celebrities and stuff, I felt bad, right? I felt like there was something wrong with me because I wasn't as selfish as them, basically. That's what it ultimately is. I felt like there was something really wrong with me because I didn't fit in. But what it ultimately is that they're selfish, they're pro-life, they buy into this world, right? The world makes sense to them, but the world doesn't make sense to me or people that see that suffering is unacceptable.
I respect what you are doing, my brother, But the thing is, you see, this world, yeah, people are not going to stop committing suicide. You know why? Because I think we as humans, society, family, brothers, sisters, I feel like human beings, we are all selfish. You know why I say so?
Yes, humans are selfish, animals are
Yeah.
selfish, and humans are animals, and they are selfish by default. But extinctionists are people who are less selfish. So we are rare, we are exceptions to the rule, but we are out there and we are selfless, right? So most humans prioritize themselves and will never give up their life, give up their time to help others. Whereas extinctionists are doing that, right? So we are fully committed, 100% committed to being selfless and doing the right thing. So there are some good people out there.
Yeah, you see, like what you are doing now is very helpful. A lot of people are listening to you, a lot of people believe you. I believe that you have saved a lot of life as well. So, okay, like me, I do watch football, but sometimes I feel like pointless. You understand? I don't know why
Yeah.
the footballer is
Life
getting
is pointless.
pounds,
Exactly.
millions of pounds and dollars.
Yeah, life is pointless. Absolutely. So the only reason we don't commit suicide is so that we can do activism so that nobody has to commit suicide or suffer ever again, right? We have to cause total extinction so that nobody suffers ever again. That's the only reason why we continue to live. Otherwise, we'd probably just be dead.
You are right, though. But I think it depends on, like me, if I'm going to be speaking on suicide, I'm going to be talking from a perspective of somebody with autism, ADHD, or BPD. So when you are in that situation, it's quite different. Normally somebody who is suicidal, who doesn't have ADHD or BPD, bipolar, I mean, it's difficult, but it's not, you are not like alone totally. People, I mean, you have people, but when you are, like for me, I don't feel suicidal because I am depressed. For me, it's more about like you feel alone, you don't fit in, regardless of what you try. So that's the thing.
Well, look, one thing I would say is that our movement gives people a sense of community, right? We have lots of activists in the movement. We have WhatsApp, we have Discord, and we are people that understand that suffering is bad, that it's wrong, right? Everybody else in the world will blame you for suffering. They'll say, if you have a bad life, it's your fault. But we're actually understanding people, that realize that suffering is bad, and it's nobody's fault that they're suffering, and that we should care about them, not find excuses to blame them. We should actually find excuses to help them.
Yeah. You see, I have one, my brother, his girlfriend father lost his life. That was last year. So he traveled to some other country, and then he unalived himself by jumping from a story building. Now when I was talking to my family about it, they said, oh, how he was selfish, his kids and blah blah blah. But you see, that's the same thing. Like me, I don't go to people's funeral. I don't go. You know why? Because I think it's fake love.
Yeah.
People die and people show up in their funeral to cry and mourn. But when they are alive, they barely call them. They don't check up on these people.
You're right. It is pretty fake, and a lot of the. So, for example, like, you're actually making a good point, because like when someone dies, when for me personally, it's like, well, now they're not suffering anymore. Good, basically, right? That they're safe, they can rest in peace, their suffering is over. But for everybody else, it's like, no, it's like a really sad thing, so they want them to keep suffering, and really they only care because they wanted to be with that person. So yeah, it's fake, absolutely.
Yeah, it is fake. You know why? You know why I said this? I mean, I've seen a lot in life. I believe I don't know everything yet. But like what you are doing now, you might not think it's a big deal, but it's really a big deal. You are doing a good job, my brother.
Thank you.
A little out of kindness goes a long way.
That's it. Your Daddy, everybody. Thank you for coming up, Your Daddy, and absolutely consider joining the movement. Check out our website, proextinction.com. Got the links to our Discord, our WhatsApp group. Become an activist. Start making videos. Even in this chat right now, we've got lots of activists who are full members of the movement. They make videos every day. So it's not just me, okay? I didn't even start this movement. It started 4 years ago. I joined 1 year ago. We now have over 100 people doing activism and growing the movement. Hello, how you doing?
Hello, James. How you going?
Yeah, good, thank you.
So I have a question. Like, I'm kind of curious. Like, so what made you like kind of go to like extreme, like jump to, hey, let's embrace death instead of let's have a community, let's have a club, let's have,
It's understanding suffering, basically. That's what happened. That's the difference. So the more you understand suffering, how terrible it can be, how unacceptable it is, the more you realize that exposing yourself to that danger and the chance of terrible suffering, becoming trapped in a life of only suffering, it's not worth it, right? Why would you risk a life of pure hell? It's not worth it, right? Why take that chance? So nobody should have to be forced into that, right? Every animal or person that gets born, they're being forced into infinite, unlimited danger. So that's not right? And nobody should exist like that. So we're all in infinite danger right now. Every single one of us, right? Sorry.
So I mean, like, yeah. So like, but I totally understand the pain, the need for recognition. I understand that, like, you know, the need for recognition, the pain, you know.
But it's not about recognition. We need safety from suffering. That's much more important. So we need to make sure that nobody suffers, that nobody's being born, so there are no more bad lives ever again.
What about the idea of like considering religious stands where people say when you pass by unaliving yourself, you're gonna go into more deeper pain, but in a different realm.
Well, I'm an atheist, so I don't believe in hell or anything like that.
Okay, you are an atheist. Okay, yeah, I mean, like that. That's understandable, but for your followers who are probably religious, you know, who might be influenced.
Well, look, if life existing on Earth goes to hell, then we should have total extinction so that there is no more life growing up and going to hell.
Okay. But did you suffer from depression yourself?
I have done in the past, yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I just came up just to ask a couple of questions, and thanks for answering my question.
Okay, thank you. And yeah, consider reading our website, proextinction.com. The link is on my profile. You don't even have to type it. You can just click on the button on my profile. And we have lots of information on our website. We have a frequently asked questions page with like 40 different questions and answers that go into very good detail. So all of your questions are probably answered on our website. Hello, how you doing? Okay, Tarot Reader Kenya. We might skip that one. Hello, how you doing?
Hey, yeah, I'm wondering, why do you like care so much about other people suffering? Like, if you're doing fine.
Yeah, it's a genetic thing. So it's about empathy. If you're born that way, then you'll just naturally be inclined to think about others and to care about others. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't really see why you should, though. Like, if you're living
again,
your own
it's
life,
not
I
about
don't
should.
think you need this, like,
It's being born that way. So it's not. We don't need a reason to care. It's not a logical thing, right? It's not like, oh, I've logically decided I should care about other people. It's essentially having the capacity to care for others. So the smaller your brain is, the more selfish you are, and the less capacity you have to actually care about other life. And you essentially all of your problems are overwhelming to the point where you can only worry about yourself. So for extinctionists, we have a higher capacity of empathy and rationality, and that means that we can actually see beyond our own problems and care about the problems of others.
I don't think that's very good for you, though. I think you should probably focus on yourself. And,
yeah,
like,
absolutely.
It
It is bad for you, right? So it takes away from your own personal life, right? So extinctionists are, less likely to have a rock star lifestyle. Absolutely. And yet we might suffer. We might get murdered. We might get tortured because of our activism. So in that sense, yeah, it is bad for you. But we're still willing to do the right thing, even if it's bad for us.
I mean, it's not the right thing. It's just what you think the right thing is. There is no objective right thing.
So you don't think child abuse is bad?
No, not objectively. Just
okay,
in the eyes
thank
of,
you.
Like,
Another person saying no, child abuse is not bad. Got it. Another one. How many? How many will we get? Just constantly. Look, if you watch my stream, it's like every 5 minutes, when we actually push people on their real opinions, they will say, okay, yeah, child abuse isn't bad. I think it's fine. It's basically every 2 guests at this point. It's constant. That's how bad humans are. Hello, how you doing? Okay. Yeah, so look, if you think the world is a perfect place, just look at how many people think child abuse is okay and that it's not even bad, right? It's literally like 30% of people that come up here end up saying, when I ask them, like, is child abuse bad? They'll go, well, no. It's literally constant. I'm not even exaggerating. It's like every 2 or 3 guests, when we push them on their actual opinions, they'll go, no, child abuse isn't bad. It's amazing. So just think how much child abuse is probably going on in the world because of how many people obviously think it's fine. It's insane. I mean, the amount of child abuse going on in the world must be like 100 times worse, 1,000 times worse than anybody realizes, right? Maybe 1,000,000 times worse than anybody knows, right? The reality is just how many people think it's fine, it's not a problem. So these same people, right? A lot of people coming up and saying child abuse is not bad. Okay, look, they might not all be abusing kids themselves. Some of them probably are. But that's not the only problem, right? They're encouraging it. They're saying it's not bad. If they see it happen in real life, they might not care or do anything. So, all of these people saying child abuse isn't bad, it doesn't matter if they're not directly abusing kids themselves. They're going out there saying it's fine, it's not bad. They're literally, I mean, how many people have come up here and have gone a step further, right? And actually tried to tell us why child abuse is good for you. Dozens of people.
Hi.
Hello, how you doing?
Fine. I just have a few things to say. First of all, generally agree with the whole idea of your channel and this movement, but I just think that it's going to be a little hard to carry out the total extinction.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's impossible, in fact.
Why?
Because, yeah, well, there are a lot of really, people are hard to, people really can't think critically, most of the society right now. There are a lot of religious people, a lot of already
Yeah,
old.
but everything's possible. Anything's possible, right?
You think we will be able to manage to carry this out?
Yes.
In the nearest future at all?
Yeah.
I don't think that's possible.
Well,
yes, I think what we need to focus on is reducing somehow
No.
suffering,
So
and not
if you go
like
after
total
reducing
extinction. I don't
suffering,
think
it never works. In fact, it leads to more suffering. So if you propose reducing suffering as a solution, then suddenly everybody accepts the existence of extreme suffering, and they no longer care about it. Their standards for safety will get lower.
that's
and
only
they
the moral
allow
part,
danger.
I think.
Sorry?
That's only morally wrong because people anyways will agree with that idea. On your streams, you're arguing with people and they agree with you and still contradict themselves. I've seen this many times even today, but morally, you're right. But in general, the sufferings will be reduced in the end, no? Won't they be?
No, they'll get worse, basically. So the current society will lead to more and worse suffering, basically.
Could you give me an example? Because I don't really follow.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Maybe.
basically,
we somehow. Okay.
So there's lots of ways in which suffering will get much worse unless we do total extinction. So, for example, they will develop super torture. They'll start putting people into simulated hell, where they, they're trapped.
Yeah, I was really scared of that. Yeah, those simulation prisons. I'm super scared of that.
Well,
I really
they
don't want
probably
this to
will do
happen.
that, right? They probably will do that, and we'll have to literally destroy those prisons and free the victims, right? So this probably will happen, and the thing is, it's not just that everything's just going to get better. The problem we have is a mentality of disrespect for life, right? So that's the main problem. No one cares if anybody suffers. Nobody cares if animals suffer. So that's the problem, and you can't fix it just by reducing suffering and better technology, right? Because you're still going to have irresponsible people that don't care about the suffering of others. They'll use super torture. And another thing they'll do is increase environmentalism. So they'll double the forests on the planet, and they'll double the wild animal suffering. They'll probably populate other planets with animals and, double the suffering again.
Yeah.
So, you can't just leave the world to this society. They will just cause more suffering over time. And the idea that they'll reduce or end suffering is a joke, a fantasy. They're actively increasing suffering. Most people believe in environmentalism, for example. So that's probably the future of the world. More environmentalism, double the forests, double the wild animal suffering, and then do it on other planets as well. So yeah, you have to actively stop suffering, otherwise it will just actively grow.
I can agree with you on that one, although I think that we are likely to get extinct naturally in the closest few hundred years, in my opinion. I just think. But yeah, there is a chance that you're right, so I guess you have a point there. It's hard to believe, I can't really imagine how is it
That's
possible
fair
to carry
enough.
this
Yeah,
out.
I mean, on that, I
Okay.
can certainly, understand. Yeah, the idea that extinction will ever work or be successful, it is hard to believe. I'm totally understand that. Yeah, 100%. Right. So we have a very small movement right now with like 100
Yeah, a few
activists.
hundred people.
We have 100 activists, right? And we're saying we're going to take over the whole world and kill everybody. So yeah, obviously,
no one will recruit.
Obviously, that's hard to believe in. But it is the right thing to do, and we have rationality, logic on our side, and we also have the ability to solve all of these problems as well. So yeah, the fact that the majority of the world is against us, that's a problem that we are actively working on solving, and yeah, we will be dealing with it.
Right. That's all, I guess. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So, yeah, another thing worth pointing out is that extinctionists are not meme lords, okay? We're not here for the memes. We are actually extremely serious activists, right? We are prepared to die, to kill, to give up our lives, to be tortured, and we're not actually joking, right? So an accelerationist, for example, that's like an edgy teenage meme lord. That's not a serious activist. That's not like a dedicated soldier for a cause, right? Extinctionists are, right? We would die for the victims. We would actually, absolutely die for the cause. So, it's a serious thing. And our activists are, seriously thinking about how to achieve total extinction with a serious plan, an intelligent plan. Now, part of the reason why that's hard to believe in is because humanity is so stupid. So for us to say that we're going to do things intelligently, the first assumption is that we're probably overconfident and actually stupid. But that's actually not the case. Hello, how you doing? Hello. Okay, no. Let's see, do we have anybody else? We've got Lazy Mooch coming up next. No, let's see. All right, let's continue adding people in for debates. Who's next? Hello.
Hi. So I actually fully agree with you. I'm just wondering, I'm thinking of kind of doing what you're doing, but in person on a college campus. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great idea. But the only thing I would say is that you should at least film it, because online activism, internet activism, is basically infinitely better than in real life activism.
Oh yeah, I'm
So-
planning on like posting on TikTok too and stuff.
Yeah, so
But
I
all
would
around,
say-
I'm just gonna be quick. Is that a good idea or not? Like that's a
Yeah, I would say
Okay, cool.
as long as you're bearing in mind that you won't be able to realistically get any new activists from the in real life activism, right? So it will just be for online, for making videos. Now, if you do get a new activist from real life activism, then I'd be very impressed. But it seems extremely statistically unlikely that you'll find any activists in your immediate area. Whereas if you're online, you've got the entire planet.
Okay. Thanks, James. Have a good one. Bye.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. And if you're actually serious about doing activism, make sure you're in the WhatsApp and the Discord. And yeah, let us know that you're planning on doing activism and we'll help you. Hello.
I am back.
Okay. I just joined your Discord. You should view my answers and approve me to join because I fully agree with you, and you should follow me too.
Okay, yeah, let's give you a follow. Yeah, done. Followed.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for coming up. Okay, we are going to do maybe like one last guest, and then I might have to go. Hello, how you doing?
Hello. Hey, I'm good. I have a question. Have you ever thought like maybe what this like movement that that you've started
I didn't
is
start.
influenced by you didn't start it? Okay, well this movement that you've gone along with, you don't think it's influenced by your personal feelings and not like reality?
No.
So you think that this is the truth that
Yes.
extinction is the only way to solve suffering and everything?
It's not some airy-fairy truth. We can prove it in like 10 seconds, basically.
You can prove it, okay.
Yeah.
But
So, like,
I
for
can also
example, I can do it right now.
but
So look, unless you have omniscience, then there will always be infinite danger. So it's actually physically impossible for life to be 100% safe from suffering without either extinction or omniscience. So without omniscience, there's going to be infinite unknowns, infinite dangers. Any system you make can go infinitely wrong in infinite different ways. So, again, life should never exist without certainty of safety, and only omniscience and, knowing the future, etc., can actually say, yeah, it's 100% safe. So without that, life should never exist because the alternative is infinite danger. Even in a simulation, if it goes wrong, if there's no 100% certainty of safety, you could be tortured for billions of years. So we cannot allow people to continue on with that mentality of allowing infinite danger.
But so you think that humanity should have never existed at all because suffering has always been inherent to the human experience?
No, so the majority of the sufferers are animals, and it's actually a good thing that humanity exists so that we can do animal extinction and prevent billions of years of more suffering for them and potentially beyond Earth as well.
So you want to kill animals first, and then you want to kill humans?
Well, we prioritize essentially doing the best extinction we can. So that has to be scientifically determined how much of the universe we can do and how thoroughly we can prevent life from coming back. So that's the priority before we do human extinction.
Interesting. It seems really sinister, not gonna lie.
Well, no, it's about making sure that nobody is forced into a bad life, right? So that's the opposite of sinister. Allowing people to be forced into a bad life,
you don't think
that's
we
much more
collectively
sinister.
try to make the world a better place instead of trying to like...
Well, like I say,
kill
if you
everyone?
try to make the world a better place, then you end up making people suffer.
I mean, I don't agree with
Because,
that.
listen, if you're going to encourage people, don't care about suffering, don't care about safety, let's make the world a better place, even if there's still infinite danger of suffering, then, yeah, people are going to say, yeah, who cares if I suffer then? So they'll walk into a simulation, it'll end up going wrong, and they'll get tortured for billions of years, screaming for death all day, every day. Is that what we should work towards?
I mean, no.
No, obviously no. The answer is no, right? Your obsession with life existing is unhealthy and will get animals and people tortured for their entire life, right? The obsession with life continuing and existing is an unhealthy addiction which causes extreme harm to others, right? Life doesn't need to exist, and you insisting on it existing is going to trap children into lives of child abuse, sexual abuse. Animals will be tortured to death. People will be living with depression, begging for death every day. Your obsession with life existing is disgusting, right? You're no better than a heroin addict, like punching a child in the face and saying, what about my pleasure? Right? You are the same. Okay. Let's see. We've got Christ the Redeemer coming up next. Hello.
Hello. I support more than I don't this pro-extinction movement, but one thing that I have an issue with, think that artificial intelligence might be able to create a perfect society. And I
Well,
would like
it might be able
to.
to make a perfect society, but unless there's certainty of safety, then it doesn't matter. That's the
Yeah,
standard, right?
but
So look, people are always saying, why don't we just make conditions better? Why don't we reduce suffering? Why don't we end suffering without extinction? It's not even possible, right? So the only thing you need to be thinking about is the fact that without omniscience and knowing everything and knowing that there are no unknowns, then there will always be infinite danger. There will always be unlimited risk of danger. Unless you know everything and you can literally see the future, then it's impossible to guarantee 100% safety from suffering. Right? It's physically impossible. And unless you adopt this standard, which I'm encouraging, which is certainty of safety, which only extinction or omniscience can provide, unless you adopt this standard of life should only exist with certainty of safety, then you will end up encouraging people to go into a simulation and get tortured for millions of years, right? Because they just won't care if there's any risk. They won't care if there's any danger. You're saying, who cares? Just continue living no matter what the danger, no matter what the risk, right? So that incredibly
but
dangerous mentality will make people and animals suffer horrifically. It's an irresponsible and reckless, careless, dangerous mentality to say we should never care about certainty of safety. We should just allow life to suffer forever.
yeah,
That's
but
not okay.
don't you think if we were put in a simulation to suffer, that life would adapt and that we would evolve
Well,
to?
there you go. You're coming out with another incredibly irresponsible mentality. Oh, well, if we do get tortured for millions of years, we'll probably find a way out eventually. Right? This is ridiculous, right? You would
I'm
condemn
not
innocent
going
people
against
to be
you.
tortured for all eternity under the vague suspicion that they'll be fine, they'll find a way out. Look, your lack of giving a shit
I
about
agree with you.
safety is horrifying.
Yeah, I was just trying to be devil's advocate to try to go against you, but I can't really find an argument where I don't agree with you. I actually do agree. So yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
That was my only.
the reason why extinction is right is because it's obvious and it is true, it is logically correct that allowing suffering so that some can have fun it doesn't make sense, right? It's not fair, it's not right. If you are trying to advocate or debate or argue in favor of allowing infinite suffering and not caring about certainty of safety, you're going to end up losing, right? You're essentially advocating for an unfair system. So it's very difficult to advocate for an unfair system which can cause infinite harm for very little reward, right? So yeah, extinction is the only right thing, and if you argue against it, you'll fail, because there is no argument against nobody having to suffer, right? In the same way that if I said, right, I've got this off of Temu, right? It's a little pocket universe, and if I push this button, life will be forced to exist inside it, where there was none before. And 99% of them will get eaten alive as babies, which is what happens in the real world in nature, right? Hopefully, if I said, yeah, I'm going to push this button and 99% of life that springs out of it will be tortured to death, hopefully you'd say, what the fuck are you doing? Put that down, right? But if it already exists, then people are like, yeah, who cares? So it should be obvious, right? And personally, I do actually think that a lot of simulation ethics perfectly translate to extinctionism as well. Like if you were in a simulation and you were the only life form there and there was just fake people and stuff, then if you were to try and create real life that could actually suffer, obviously you wouldn't be allowed to do that, right? Because if we get to a simulation and, everything, we're in a perfect society now, creating real people, real life forms in unsafe conditions will absolutely be banned, right? there would be no simulation where you're allowed to create real life forms, right? You'll be allowed to make fake life forms, fake animals, fake people, and have sex with them, right? But you will not be allowed to make real people in the simulation, right? You won't be allowed to just make real people or animals and torture them or let them suffer. So it's the same for real life, right? We shouldn't allow life to suffer horrifically in the same way that you shouldn't make life suffer. You absolutely should not allow it to suffer. So think of it this way. If we're in an ocean of suffering, right, is it better because somebody caused it or because nature caused it, right? If the screams are all the exact same, the number of victims is the same, the level of torture and excruciating pain is the exact same, is it better because nature caused it than if somebody caused it? No, it's the same. And your moral obligation is the same, right? So you shouldn't cause that suffering, but you also shouldn't allow it, right? It is just as evil because the suffering is the same, right? So the victims are no better off because nature caused it or you caused it. So if you think that an ocean of suffering is better because nature caused it and a person didn't cause it, then it's only better to you because you're finding a reason to not care about it, right? So it's not better for the sufferers, the victims, right? The ocean of sufferers, they're still screaming in pain. So to say, oh, well, it's worse if I do it, right? But it's better if nature did it, then it's only better for you, right? It's not better for anyone else. So allowing suffering is exactly as bad as causing suffering. The victims suffer the exact same, right? Walking past a kid screaming for help is no better than pushing over a kid and making them scream for help. It really is. It's the exact same. All right, I'm going to do one more and then I'm going to go for the day. All right, let's see. We've got B Speaks. Hello.
Hey James, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. James, I wanted to ask you, so in terms of your philosophy, I share the same philosophy, and rationally speaking, you're 100% correct. The problem is, how can we fix this issue in a totally irrational world?
That's a good question. So, well, firstly, we don't consider it a philosophy. We consider it an ideology and ethics. So,
Okay.
and secondly, you've struck on a good point there, right? How can we push a rational, position in an irrational world? So essentially, we have to see extinctionists as reproductive units, and we are reproducing through activism and making videos. So every time we educate somebody about extinction and they agree to become an activist, we've effectively done reproduction. But we're also doing the same reproduction through genetics, right? So our movement is actively, currently, donating sperm so that we can get more extinction activists in the future. So that's one way that we're doing it as well. And yeah, potentially we'll have to outpopulate the planet with extinctionists. We might have reproduction programs in the future where we're trying to pump out more and more extinctionists, because it is potentially more effective than just making videos and hoping that someone will be there, right?
Absolutely. And I think in the end, I have this intuition that this is the end anyways. We should eliminate all suffering. Like, what's the point? I listen, I know that we are, especially as intellectuals, we're attached to the creations of life. Like, I'm sure that you love art as well, music, poetry, but that's nothing compared to the suffering that has been done in millions of years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to have a problem debating intellectuals who are attached to the things of this world. That's going to be the problem.
Well, yeah, the thing is that essentially their brain structures prevent them from agreeing with extinction or caring about it. So it's not about educating people, it's about the genetics. It's not about the software, it's about the hardware. And that is unfortunately the reality. Because if it were just a software issue, then it would be extremely easy to just explain the rational position to everyone. But so what's preventing them from being rational is their genetics, their brain structures, less advanced brains, basically. So that's the main problem that we need to fix. It is a genetic issue. That's the solution will have to be genetic as well. So that is what we are looking at doing.
I'm thinking now that this world is full of irrational, selfish people.
Yeah.
I believe this 100%. I think everybody.
It's because they're animals, right? They've evolved from animals. So that's the reason why.
Like I asked some of my friends the same questions that you're asking everybody. And you know what everybody told me? I don't give a shit, man. All I care is how can I pay my rent this month. That's all what I care.
Yeah, I've had the same thing a lot of times where they'll start off and say, "Oh, what is this extinction?" Blah blah blah, and then at the end they'll go, "Oh, all right, fine, but I just don't care." And it's
exactly. And do you reckon that maybe total extinction will be done maybe in 500 years from now?
Well, it depends what your definition of total extinction is, right? You've got universe-wide extinction, animal extinction, human extinction. So to completely...
It's pretty realistic that we can wipe out this planet if we wanted to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do it probably on planet Earth.
Yeah. But our priority is universe-wide extinction. We should try and do that before we do complete Earth extinction.
Indeed. Right, thank you, James. Thank you.
Thank you, V-Speaks. That's a very good conversation. Yeah, sounds like you're pretty up on it. Make sure you're in the Discord and the WhatsApp. Start making videos, and I'll be happy to give you advice on doing that if you need any. Hello, how you doing?
Hey, good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
My son's a huge fan of your videos. Actually, he was just showing them to me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
He said he was going to kill me to end my suffering. I was curious what you think of that.
Yeah, we need more humans right now, so we're against violence, we're against self-harm. The more humans, the better. We need a healthy and powerful humanity. So we have to end all suffering, not just some, and that starts with animals, right? Animals can't help themselves, we can, so we should help those who can't help themselves before we help ourselves. That's why we will not allow, or we won't support, humanity declining in population until we've done animal extinction first. So again, they can't help themselves, only we can do it, and it would be selfish to focus on human extinction before animal extinction.
But I'm just curious what you would make of someone who, like children listen to this, and I get that you're a troll and you're not serious, but
no, I am serious.
What would you say to a child that listens to this and actually decides to act on it? I would say what you're saying about the animals.
I would say become an activist and work towards a world where nobody suffers.
Well, maybe we could do something like go to a food prep place on the weekends instead of talking about extinction.
Say again?
Like maybe go prepare food for hungry people at your local church or
that you're just perpetuating the cycle. We have to cut the cycle.
But talking about whatever this is isn't. This is real change. This is where the real work is happening.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks for coming up. All right. Do we have any other interesting looking guests? Maybe. We've got let's see. Okay, let's see. We've got somebody coming up. TW Long. And no, they've left. Okay, we've got Ripper King coming next. Hello. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, hi, how you doing?
I'm well, thanks. And yourself?
Good, thank you. Do you have any questions?
Mr. G. I see you say forceful total extinction is needed to stop all suffering.
Of course.
What about the positive?
Well, if you only care about the positives, then by that logic, and the conclusion of that is that you wouldn't care if everybody was being tortured as long as there was one person having a positive time, who even if they are the torturer themselves, right?
No. Well, I guess everything in life is a balance. I mean, we have
But where does the balance come from? So when like
a dynamic of duality.
so for example, when a baby gets raped to death, right, and killed, how does it balance out? Does it take like one person eating 10 ice creams and then it's okay, or how does it? Where's the balance? How does it balance? What's the mechanics of the balance?
The mechanics of the balance is nothing in life is fair. Nothing in
The
life
mechanics
is fair.
is that you've pulled it out of your ass. So when he says, "Oh, there's a balance," though, it's a complete lie. So we asked, "How does it work?" And he says, "Yeah, forget about the balance. Life isn't fair." So he went from, "Oh, there's a balance," to, "Okay, no, forget that. Life isn't fair." So there's nothing going on there behind the ears, behind the eyes, nothing. Hello, how you doing?
Hello.
Yeah, do you have any questions?
Yes, how do you measure utility? You're obviously utilitarian.
We don't.
Okay, so then how can you say, how can you put a value on suffering or pleasure?
It's just obvious, right? That extreme suffering is unacceptable.
Yeah, you can say it's unacceptable, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to exterminate the human race, obviously.
Well, when you say that doesn't necessarily mean that, right? We should dive into the actual logic, right? So yeah, if extreme suffering is unacceptable, then the only way to make sure it doesn't happen is to not allow life to exist.
Yeah, that's the only way to ensure it doesn't happen, but we don't need to ensure it doesn't happen.
But everybody should have the right to not be forced to suffer. And so the only way to enforce that, the ultimate right, is with total extinction.
Nope, you don't have that right. You have property rights, but you don't have a right to...
well, that's just in your head, right? So, I'm saying everybody should have the right to not be forced to suffer.
Why?
Because it's the only fair thing.
Define fair. How do you come up with that concept? That's not philosophically.
Do you know what fair means? Usually fair means nobody suffers if others have to benefit from it, right? So, for example, if there's a pleasure boat and 10% of people want to get off and the other 9 out of 10 say, no, we're having too good of a time, that would be unfair. Now, selfish, monstrous people like yourself would say, oh no, the sufferers wanting to get off the boat, they're being unfair by impinging on the pleasure of the happy people, right? So in the same way that a slave owner would tell his slave who's complaining about, the whip lashes on his back, the slave owner would say, you're being unfair, right? You're making me, the slave owner, unhappy by complaining about the slavery, right? What about my happiness? So that's the system that's always been used over time, is blaming the victims and the sufferers and saying that, to help the sufferers, to free the slaves, that would be unfair. Whereas actually having slaves and causing suffering is what's unfair.
But slavery is unfair because you're violating someone's consent and property rights, but you don't care about them. So how do you say that what's your reason for slavery being bad?
So you'll agree that slavery is unfair, right? But you wouldn't agree that forcing people into bad lives is unfair.
Well, I'm saying you don't have a reason. I do because I believe in property rights, but you don't. So you can't say that slavery.
So when we're talking about slavery and people, you're talking about property rights. So you're a disgusting slave owner mentality type of person, right? When we're talking about should we allow slaves, he's treating it as property rights. What's wrong with these sick people, right? Oh my God. Yeah, this earth is hell. We're surrounded by people that, think child abuse is good, that, bad lives isn't an unfair thing, that should we deal with slaves? Oh, well, should we free them? No, we should look at the property rights first. What? It's disgusting, right? Disgusting mentalities that justify and defend and excuse cruelty, slavery, forcing others into bad lives of pure pain, right? It's just one excuse after another, one justification after another. Anything to continue their selfish addiction to pleasure, no matter who gets hurt or how many. Hello, how you doing?
Hey James, I'm doing fine at home. Just finished work and I saw that you're live. I really find your your whole movement. Very interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I get why you're so upset at things, and I do agree with you that there's a lot of suffering in the world, and it sucks just for a lot of people. Not us. We live quite a decent life, a good life, but a lot of people just have it really bad. But let's look at it as a show, like life being a show. Maybe you got
No. So if you do that, then you end up, just not caring if children get abused, right? Because it's just a show, it's not real. So we have to take life seriously and not treat it as a comedy show, right? We have children and animals needing us to care about their safety in a serious way, not to treat it as a show or a joke.
When did you come up with this idea of
I didn't.
total extinction?
I didn't. The movement started 4 years ago. I joined 1 year ago.
Who started it?
Steve.
Steve. Okay. And what made you, join this movement?
Well, for most extinctionists, exception being Steve, because he started it, most extinctionists were very happy to join the movement and were effectively waiting for this to come along. So it's people that want to help the world, that can't bear to see all of the suffering and bad lives and cruelty going on. And so, when the movement invited me to join and said they were going to end all suffering, it was immediately obvious to me that it was the right thing to do and that it was possible. So, I joined immediately, and most of our activists, it was the same. They're like, no more suffering. How do I help?
But don't you think there should be, the efforts should be twofold? Like, on one hand, you want to, but just listen to me. I listen to you. I would appreciate if you listen to me as well. On one hand, you can fight for extinctionism, and you can try to, get more people on board. But on the other hand, you can also try to
this is why I said no, because I was going to save us a lot of time there, right? So we're against reducing suffering because it encourages allowing suffering, and it's also a waste of time. So a lot of people tell us, stop doing extinction activism, start doing vegan activism or LGBT activism. It's
you can do both.
No, that's reducing suffering a tiny fraction, and it doesn't actually end all suffering. So if you go to reduce suffering, you're discriminating.
Got it. But so if that's the only thing that you think should be done, everyone should join the movement and, fight for extinctionism. That's fine, I get it, but it kind of doesn't make sense. To me, everyone that joins the movement should end their life as soon as they join the movement, right? To make a statement, which is very wrong. I don't
Where
encourage
have you gotten that from?
Well, why fight for extinctionism instead of fighting?
All right, well, you know what? So he's just made some bullshit up about how we want people to kill themselves, so I'm going to ban that guy. He'll never see this stream ever again. Goodbye. What the hell is he talking about, right? We're against suicide. We're against self-harm. We want healthy people. We want more humans temporarily until we've completed animal extinction and extinction for other life, right? So we want a bigger humanity, a better humanity, a healthier humanity temporarily for now, right? Indefinitely. That could last for thousands of years. So the idea that we want people to kill themselves is completely bullshit. It's not true. Anyway, I've got to go now, guys. The girlfriend is waiting for me. I think she's in the stream now, probably getting angry. So I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks for joining us. And if you have any questions, you can message me directly on TikTok, or you can join our Discord, our WhatsApp group. The links are on our website, proextinction.com. The link to the website is on my profile, so you can just click that and then click on it, as is the link to our Discord and everything else. See you tomorrow, everyone. And make sure you watch the new movie that I've just released. It's on my profile. It's the pinned video, the latest video. You're going to love it.